Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are sitting down and we are doing a bronzer declutter. These are all the bronzers that are in my collection right now. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this might be more of a bronzer collection video because I'm staring down at this massive pile of bronzers that's too large, that I know I have too much, but I don't want to get rid of hardly any of these. Like, I'm not kidding you, there's probably like one, maybe two I want to get rid of. So this might be more of a collection video because I love bronzer and I'm honestly attached to so many of these, and I really do love so many of these. So before we get started, don't forget to upload every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to see my bronzer declutter slash realistically a collection tour, then let's go ahead and get started. Like I said in the intro, I know this is too many bronzers for one person to have, but I love bronzer. It's one of my favorite steps in my routine to really just bronze up this pale, ghostly face, give me some shape, make me look like a human being. And a lot of these I really just genuinely love. I kind of have my creams and powders just kind of intertwined, intermixed together here. I'm not really going to go by like all creams, all powders, all drugstore. I'm just going to randomly talk about them and randomly grab them. So the first one I'll start off with is this e.l.f. This is their primer infused bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. Also, I have on these like nail stickers. I don't know how I feel about them. So these are like the Dashing Diva ones. Two of them already fell off, but my friend Hannah loves these, and she was like just putting on her old ones on me last night to just see how I liked them. So they don't fit me correctly or anything like that. Let me know, would you like to see a video on Dashing Diva and like the process behind them, like buying them, applying them, how well they wear, all of that? Because like I said, my friend Hannah loves them, and I'm like, I don't know, I might want, like, obviously I need to like get better ones that fit me and stuff. These were just one of her old pair that was her leftovers. But yeah, let me know, would you like to see a video on that? Because I don't know. Anyways, this is their e.l.f. primer infused bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. I absolutely love this bronzer. It is so stinking good, and you guys, it's $6. I don't know how e.l.f. makes such amazing products for such an affordable price, but this is amazing. Pigmented, beautiful on the skin, doesn't get patchy, lasts all day long. I love this, and for $6, you cannot go wrong. I highly recommend this. Another one I'm going to keep is brand spanking new to me. This is the Ilia Nightlight Bronzing Powder in the shade Drawn In. I just recently picked this up in my most recent Sephora sale haul. I've only gotten a chance to use it twice. As you can see, it is brand new. So far, I am absolutely loving this. I love the tone. I love how it blends out. I love how it looks on my skin. I love how it wears. I am so in love with this bronzer. I'm so glad I picked it up, and it's definitely a keep because it's brand new to me. Another keep, the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in the shade Tantastic. You guys, this bronzer is one of my favorites ever. This tone is absolute perfection. I feel like it's probably one of the most neutral bronzers in my collection, which I love. I don't really know if you can get your hands on this anymore. I'm not really sure what's going on with Marc Jacobs. However, I love this, definitely keeping. Another keep is going to be my Fenty Beauty. This is their Sunstalker Warmth Bronzer. This is the powder one in the shade Into Sun. As you can see, I have pan on this. I love this. It's probably one of my lightest bronzers in my collection, shade-wise and formulation-wise. Like, I really do have to build this bronzer up when I use it. However, it is beautiful on the skin. If you have not tried Fenty's bronzers in general, her powder or her cream, I highly recommend them, so I'm definitely keeping this. And we might as well talk about the cream while we're here. This is her cream bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. Again, I love this. I'm definitely keeping it. As you can see, there's quite a big dip in this bronzer. This is so good. It's nice because it's not too pigmented. You do have to build it up quite a bit, which I'm personally okay with because then you can't go overboard and it's not too intense and you're not like blending it out for like an hour. This is such a good bronzer, definitely keeping it. Another keep is my Jouer. This is their light to medium bronzer duo, so it has sunlight and suntan. Another one that I have a pretty massive pan in, as you can see. This is sunlight and this is suntan. Clearly sunlight matches me a little bit better, but honestly, I kind of just mix the two together when I use it. These bronzers are so underrated. I feel like I don't hear a lot of people talking about the Jouer bronzer duos. I hear them talking about the blush duos quite a bit, but their bronzers clearly are beautiful. This is a stunning bronzer. Formulation, shade-wise, everything about it, it blends out so nicely, doesn't get patchy. If you have not really ever taken a second glance at the Jouer bronzer duos, I highly recommend. Definitely keeping. Okay, one I think I'm going to reluctantly keep is the M Cosmetics. This is their brand new, like, So Soft bronzer stick in the shade Summer. So these released not that long ago. I don't know how I feel about this. I've honestly only used it maybe 1 or 2 times, but the couple times I did use it, it faded on me throughout the day, so I don't love that. The tone is all right. It's a little bit deep for me and a little bit warm. I'm gonna keep this because I just haven't used it enough to really fully know my thoughts on it. But this is a reluctant keep and it might get decluttered in the future, but I just need to give it more goes. Alrighty, one I'm actually going to declutter is this one by Hourglass. This is their Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Luminous Bronze Light. So whenever I use this, it just pulls really, really orange tone on me and just like too warm. It has a little sheen and shine to it, which is pretty if you can see, but overall, I never really reach for this, and when I do, I never really love how it looks. I can't really use it on its own because it's too warm and too orange tone, so I mainly use it to top a more matte bronzer, but when I do that, I never really like how it looks, so I am going to go ahead and declutter this guy. Another keep is this Ofra one right here. This was in collaboration with Samantha March, their River Bronzer Duo. I actually really like this bronzer. I hadn't really ever tried cheek products from Ofra minus their highlights, obviously, because everyone loves their highlights. So when she released this, I really like Samantha March as a YouTuber. I wanted to support her. This is definitely one of my warmest bronzers and almost one of my deepest bronzers. So I can't really use this now. It looks best on my skin in the summertime when I'm self-tanning and I'm using a little bit deeper foundations. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this for the summertime coming up. Another keep is going to be my Maybelline City Bronzer. I have the shade 100, which is the lightest. I love this bronzer so much. I've already gone through one complete one and it has like just a ring around the edge, a really tiny ring. I'm using it as my nose contour bronzer so I can finally use it up. But as you can see, even on this one, I've already used quite a bit to where you can see the rings almost coming through. It blends out beautifully. The tone is beautiful. I can go ham with this bronzer and use like a pound of it and it never looks too heavy. It never gets cakey. It never gets patchy. This bronzer is so stinking good. Definitely keeping. Another keep is going to be my Kosas bronzer. This is their soft bronze, I guess, in the shade Light. This is a bronzer that I mainly use to top matte bronzers, kind of like I was talking about with the Hourglass one. It just is super, super shimmery, if you can tell, which is beautiful on the skin. I will say this has a very weird scent to it. Like I can smell it from here and it's like a foot away from me. It just, and I can't even explain the smell, honestly. It smells just weird. And I reached out to Kosas and they were like, that's not normal. Like, let me send you another one. And then they sent me another one in replacement and that one smelled the same. So I ended up giving that one to Ava when I met her a couple weeks back. So hopefully she ends up liking it as well because I like how it looks on my skin. It's beautiful. It just kind of smells smoky and is super shimmery, but I like this as a topper, so I'm definitely keeping. Another keep is my Tarte. This is their cream bronzer in the shade Breezy. I love this bronzer. It is so stinking good. I feel like I really don't reach for creams too often. I'm just more of a powder kind of girl, but when I do reach for this, it is beautiful on the skin. It blends out lovely. It lasts all day long. It's not too like sticky or anything like that. This is, I feel like, a little underrated. I feel like some people have discovered it and say that they love it too, but I don't see it getting the hype here on YouTube that I personally think it should get. This is the mini. It also comes in a larger size if you're interested in that, but I love this, definitely keeping. Speaking of a cream bronzer that is beautiful on the skin and blends out nicely and all the things I just said about the Tarte one, this is the Milk Makeup. This is their matte bronzer stick in the shade Baked. As you can see, I have used quite a bit of this. It's definitely well loved. Kind of like the Tarte one, it blends out nicely. It's never patchy. It's a good tone on my fair skin. It lasts all day. It doesn't fade or budge or anything. Great cream bronzer. It's a cult classic. People have been talking about it for years for good reason though. It's good and I love it. Definitely keeping. Another keep is my Glowish by Huda Beauty. This is their soft radiant bronzer in the shade Light. So this is not my favorite bronzer, I will say. If you can see, it gets like hard pan on it and I don't know why. However, it's a really nice tone. It does blend out fairly nicely. It can get slightly patchy on me if I'm not careful, and I do have to build it up. It's definitely one of those formulations that's not too pigmented, which is nice, so I have to put quite a few layers on. But yeah, I just don't understand why it gets hard pan. That's really annoying, and I have seen quite a few people on my Instagram page talk about theirs getting hard pan as well, so it must just be the type of formulation. However, it's pretty and I do like it, so I'm going to keep it. One I'm going to go ahead and declutter is this Little Baby NARS one. This is their Laguna bronzer. I know this is like a cult classic and it's been around for a very, very long time, but as you can see, I have not used it and I got this as my birthday gift back in June. So it's been like 5 months and I still haven't tried it out. It looks like a nice tone, and like I said, it's a cult classic bronzer that's been around and been talked about for a while, so I'm sure if I tried it, I would like it, but just having this little mini is kind of, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever really reach for this mini over my other full-size bronzers, if that makes sense. So I'm going to see if a friend wants this instead. Another keep is my Cover FX bronzer drops. So this is in the shade Sunkissed. These were sent to me PR, and I'm not going to lie, I don't think I would have picked these up on my own, just because, I don't know, like bronzer drops, it sounds messy, it sounds hard to blend out, it sounds just like not something I'd be interested in. However, these are beautiful on the skin. They do blend out very nicely. It's not too messy. All the things I thought it was going to be, it's not. Also, this shade on me is beautiful for my fair skin, this Sunkissed shade. It's like neutral and not too warm, but not too cool. It's like the perfect bronzer shade, and I love these. I'm so glad that they were sent to me and I got the chance to try them because like I said, I wouldn't have tried them on my own, but I love them, so definitely keeping. Another keep is my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It Bronzer. I have the shade 01 Light. You guys, first of all, I hit pan in it. This bronzer is one of my favorite bronzers ever. The tone is so beautiful. Again, it's one of those that's very, very neutral. So it's not too deep and dark at all. It has a little bit of radiance and sheen to it, which this translated on your skin is stunning. This is truly, I cannot speak highly enough about this bronzer. I feel like I don't show it as much love on my channel as maybe I used to like a couple months ago, just because I've acquired a couple other new bronzers that I'm also loving. But if you need a really beautiful shimmery bronzer, it's not glittery or anything like that. It just gives your skin a really healthy glow. But at the drugstore, because this is like $10, maybe $12 because it's L'Oreal, stunning. The pan is huge. It will last you forever. I think it comes in 3 different shades. I cannot recommend this bronzer enough. Definitely keeping. Another keep, is this even a question? This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer in the shade 2 Medium. This is like my favorite bronzer. I feel like, as you can see, I just hit pan on it not that long ago. I was like excited, but also sad. Such a good bronzer. You guys know. You know my love for this. 1,000,000% keeping. Okay, this Nabla bronzer. This is their skin bronzer, this thing, in the shade Ambra. This is the lightest one. I feel like I definitely could have gone down a shade or deeper in a shade. Like I said, this is the lightest one. This also gets kind of hard pan, if you can see, and it just barely shows up on my skin. I have to really, really build it up. I thought I was going to absolutely love this bronzer because I love their highlight so much in the shade Ozone. I don't love this. However, I am going to keep it only because I never reach for it, and I remember my thoughts, but I just want to use it a couple more times to really fully solidify my thoughts before I give it away. I just haven't used it enough, I feel like. So I am going to keep this, but this could be a declutter in the future. Another keep is going to be my Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. I have the lighter skin one. They also have one for deeper skin. This is fairly new to me. I use this in my full face of Essence, and then I've used it a couple other times off of camera as well. It's pulling a little bit more orange on camera than it is in person. It's more neutrally toned in person. This is a good bronzer. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it was only a couple dollars and I like it, so I'm going to keep it. I don't really have much else to say. I don't think I've tried it enough to really have my full thoughts formed on it, so I am going to keep this. Another keep is my Bare Minerals. This is their loose bronzer in the shade Faux Tan. So this can get a little messy if you're not careful, and it's also very highly pigmented. Like, this would be probably too much to go in on my whole face. Like, that's how pigmented it is, and it can get slightly patchy if you're not careful. However, if you take the time to really build this up, go slowly, buff it out, and blend it in a lot, this is really, really beautiful on the skin. It looks very natural. The faux tan shade looks pretty on my fair skin, and I'm definitely gonna keep this. Another keep is this one right here from Half Cake. This is their Candy Paint in the shade Morning View. I just recently picked this up. I've only gotten a chance to use it once. I did go ahead and do a full face of Half Cake makeup. I can put in the eye and down below in case you missed it. But spoiler alert, I actually really, really love this. The tone on this bronzer is beautiful on my fair skin, like stunning. It's neutral and blended in beautifully. Like, I tapped it in like 30 seconds and it was completely blended in. My only gripe is that it's pretty sticky. So next time I use it, I'm definitely gonna have to set it down with a translucent powder or a powder bronzer. However, I love this the first time I used it and it's brand new to me, so I'm definitely keeping it. Okay, I've been staring down at this Milani bronzer for quite a while. This is their Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 01 Sunlight. So this got so much hype on my Instagram page a while back, and when I bought it, I was like, I don't understand the hype. However, I was told by my friends on Instagram that I picked up the wrong shade. The shade that they were all raving about was 02 and I got 01. So I think I am going to go ahead and declutter this. I like begrudgingly reach for it whenever I reach for it just to get some love out of it because I, paid money for it. And as you can tell, I haven't used a whole bunch. So I feel like one of my friends would like this more. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter that to them. And then spoiler alert, I'm just going to go ahead and keep all of these as well. So this is the Cloven Hollow Bronzer. This is in the shade Cabo. Beautiful bronzer. I have had it for a few years now. As you can see, it's pretty well loved, but this is another one that's not super pigmented. You have to build it up, but when you do, it looks beautiful on the skin, so I'm keeping this. My Oma, this is the Double Take Sculpt and Strobe Duo Stick in the shade White Pearl. One side is a bronzer, as you can see. We will focus. This is a beautiful bronzer. It's nice and neutral, leaning a little bit cool tone, and it blends out effortlessly. And then on the other side, it is a highlight that is also stunning. So I'm gonna be keeping this. And last but not least, we have my two e.l.f. Putty Bronzers. I have the shade Tan Lines and then Feelin' Shady. Tan Lines, as you can see, is a nice warm bronzer. It really does bronze up my face. Feelin' Shady is more cool tone to help contour. I really like both of these. They're a little less pigmented and you do have to like build them up, and they do fade a tiny bit throughout the day. However, they're like $6, so they're very affordable, and I really like having these in my collection, so I'm gonna keep these. So just as a recap, these are going to be all of the bronzers I am keeping. Yes, it is a lot. It's 24. I understand. However, I feel like I have a really good mix of cream bronzers and powder bronzers, high-end, more drugstore. I look down at this pile of bronzers and I really honestly love almost all of them. There's a couple that I'm like, I don't know. I definitely have to keep testing them out. But for the most part, I really genuinely love all of these bronzers and I am happy to keep them. And these are going to go ahead and be the 3 bronzers that I am decluttering. I know there's only 3. I kind of feel a little like about that. However, like I said, I really do love the other ones I'm keeping, and these really are 3 that I'm not loving, I'm not getting a lot of use out of, that I can see my friends loving more. So sorry if you came to this wanting like a really brutal declutter and like half my collection gone, but I've been mentioning this in all of my declutter series that I've been putting up, that I don't want to declutter things just to declutter them. I really truly only want to get rid of things that I am not loving and I don't want in my collection anymore. I don't want to do a ruthless declutter just to have a thumbnail and title that says, have my collection gone, you know what I mean? I really do work hard to be able to buy this makeup and try it out, so I want to keep what I want to keep and just declutter what I want to declutter. So, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much, you're awesome, and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys!